Oral questions.
Oral questions. Questions on Honorable Leader of the Opposition, soon to be next Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Poilievre.
The Prime Minister is still acting like a firefighter who's setting fires. Now he's blaming immigration on bad actors instead of himself. He decided to open the door to 725,000 asylum seeker requests in 5 years. He approved a 211% increase in international students. He allowed foreign workers in communities with high levels of unemployment. If there are bad actors, should he not look in the mirror? The Honourable Minister of Immigration.
Black actors. Bad actors. Sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Oops.
I think that Canadians expect any responsible government to take decisive actions. And you saw the levels I tabled last week, a 20% decrease in permanent resident. And the PBO himself has said that we have to meet our housing needs. And the member across the way wants to go to election. He has no plan. Perhaps in terms of math, he said that they'll build 6 units and he can count to 6. So, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Maniac masquerading as a firefighter, this time on immigration. He blames bad actors for his decisions on that destroyed our immigration system. He decided to increase and open the door to 726% more asylum claims. He decided to approve 211% more international students. He decided to lift the ban on temporary foreign workers in communities with already high unemployment. If the Prime Minister is hunting for the quote-unquote bad actors who ruined the system, will he have a look in the mirror?
Yes.
Bad actor and drama teacher.
In refugees and citizenship.
Mr. Speaker, I don't think we'll take any lessons from someone who spent the last 20 years lighting fires in the House of Commons. That's it. We put forward a plan 2 weeks ago to reduce immigration levels by 20%. Canadians expect us to be responsible and to react to their needs. That's what we're doing with this plan. The Parliamentary Budget Officer himself has said that this new plan will reduce housing needs by 50%. That's what Canadians want. It's responsible.
Very good.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the Employment Minister first denied that he and his company were profiting off government business, and then text messages showed the contrary. They referred to a Randy. Well, he claimed that it was another Randy. We now know there is no other Randy. We know he falsely claimed he was Indigenous in order so that his company could steal resources that were meant for real Indigenous people. And now his company address matches the address of a place that was the location of 2 cocaine busts. Any one of these things would be a resigning offense. Why won't he resign now?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Pierre ain't joking around today.
Order.
One Randy's white, the other Randy's Indigenous.
For
one shirtless and eats cheeseburgers.
And workforce development.
Mr. Speaker.
There he is.
Referred to in today's article. I've never met that person. I've had no dealings with her whatsoever. Those are the facts.
This guy's bipolar. He is the other person.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Oh, this is funny.
Apparently, the person he doesn't know is himself.
Ah, there it is.
Says that he's not the Randy in the text messages, but his own business associates say there is no other Randy. He says that he said that he was Indigenous in order that he could get grants and contracts that were meant just for Indigenous people. Now he admits he's not Indigenous at all. And now, while his company has the same address as a place that has 2 cocaine busts, he says he doesn't know the person involved in that address either. Does this minister even know who he is?
Yeah. Wow.
The Honourable Minister for Employment and Workforce Development.
Mr. Speaker, the article states...
And ask all members, please. There's... The Honourable Minister for Employment and Workforce Development from the top.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know the person referred to in the article today. I've never met her. I've had no dealings.
Never met her?
However, the article states that fact, and that is the fact.
Whoa, what do you mean never met her?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
After the Prime Minister took his private jet, burned 105 tons of jet fuel, and emitted 300 tons of greenhouse gases to go down to Brazil, he claimed that Canadians who are opposed to his carbon tax are just confused by disinformation. No, Canadians aren't stupid, Mr. Speaker. They know that the Parliamentary Budget Officer has calculated that 100% of middle-class Canadians pay more in the tax than they get back. The Prime Minister already also said, though, that this will be the subject of the next election. I couldn't agree more. So why don't we have a carbon tax election now?
There you go. Call the election.
The Honourable Minister for... Order.
Order. He wants to mute the mic, but he won't.
For Resources. And
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, it would be nice if the Leader of the Opposition was not spouting disinformation and misinformation in the House. At the end of the day, 8 out of 10 Canadian families, the vast majority of Canadians, get more money back. It is those that actually live on the most modest incomes that are the best off as a result of the price on pollution. But I would also say it is a price on pollution. It is about addressing climate change, something that organization across the way simply has no idea how to do and does not care.
It seems like every time the employment minister finds rock bottom, it keeps getting worse. First, he said he wasn't the Randy involved in his company, but we know there was only one Randy at his company. He said he wasn't involved with his company while in cabinet, and text messages reveal that he is. He said that he was Indigenous to profit from government contracts stealing from First Nations communities, and now there's new news of coordinating business activities with drug smugglers and convicts. This is the behavior of a low-life fraud, not a federal cabinet minister. Simple question. How does that guy still have his job?
Wow!
Order.
I mean, it is greasy. It's greasy for just a regular person. It's super greasy
The Honourable
for a federal MP to have done this.
Employment and Workforce Development.
Mr. Speaker, despite the innuendo, here are the facts. I don't know the person in question. I never met that person in question. And Mr. Speaker, those are simply the facts. The article even says that I've never met the person in question. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
This dude isn't going to be able to handle the pressure. They keep pressing, he'll crack.
Speaker, here are the facts. He flaunts the ethics rules. He claims a false identity. He gets caught in a web of lies. That's what the Prime Minister rewards after 9 years. With each passing day, we find out more about the Employment Minister's scams and schemes, and we learn that he's just a phony and a fraud. Canadians want to know. Indigenous communities who stole from him, who he stole from, want to know, and Liberal backbenchers want to know when the Prime Minister is going to fire that cabinet minister.
Oh, put some W's in the chat for that one.
The Honourable Minister for Employment and Workforce Development.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't know the person in the article from today. I've never met the person in the article from today. Those are the facts. Mr. Speaker, the Conservatives may not like it, but it's actually in the article that I don't know the person in question. Never met them.
The Honourable Member from Leeds,
We don't believe you.
and Rideau Lakes.
The Liberal minister from Alberta is a fake and a fraud. He said he was not the Randy involved in his company, but we know that there's only one Randy. He said he wasn't involved in his company at the cabinet table.
I'm going to ask colleagues. Today we've been skating close to the line in terms of
Whoa!
colleagues.
What are you going to do? Mute it? Look at him. Look at his twitch. He's like, I want to mute the mic.
My comment again, if you would give me the privilege.
I'll do another petition.
At several occasions today, we've been skating close to the line in terms of what's acceptable.
Ah, he's trained.
The Honourable Member from Leeds, I think, has skated over that line and accusing.
We did it, guys.
Can I ask the Honourable Member to withdraw that comment?
We did it.
His question.
Restart, Speaker, that this Liberal minister from Alberta has been implicated in fraud and media reports. Today, we've seen that. It's very clear.
I'm just going to, I'm not certain if I was having trouble hearing the member. I don't think I heard the withdraw. If you could withdraw and start again, I'd appreciate it. If members were not to take the floor while a member is being recognized, the speaker will be able to hear the member. The honourable member from Leeds,
Oh my goodness.
Islands and Rideau Lakes.
Withdrawing the previous words, Speaker, will talk about this Liberal minister from Alberta who has been implicated in media reports in fraud. Some of them he's even apologized for. He misrepresented his identity, claiming to be Indigenous, trying to steal contracts from people who are in fact Indigenous. This same minister said that he wasn't the Randy at his own company. We know that there was only one Randy at that company. It's pandemic profiteering. We know that there's allegations of fraud. Why is it that this Prime Minister just won't fire that minister?
That's a good question.
The honourable member, the honourable minister for Employment and Workforce Development.
Mr. Speaker, what the member opposite just said is simply not true.
The honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes.
It's unbelievable that with the cocaine connections to the Liberal minister from Alberta, that those Liberals, that Prime Minister, want to allow him to continue to be in cabinet. He said that he was Indigenous to try and steal contracts from individuals who are Indigenous. That's okay as long as you are a Liberal. The company is involved in more than half a dozen lawsuits because of fraud, and that's okay as long as you're a Liberal. They came before committee and said things that we now know weren't true, like it must have been some other Randy. If he won't resign, why won't this Prime Minister fire that fraudster?
I had Bannock a few months ago. Give me the grants too. Je suis Randy. Is that how that works? Am I allowed to do that? Can I say that? Am I going to get canceled?
Last possible moment.
Then Randy should also get canceled.
Should not be considered. Would not be considered acceptable. Can I just ask the honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Island, and Rideau Lakes to please withdraw that last word?
I'll withdraw the last word. He should be fired.
The honourable member, the honourable minister for Employment and Workforce Development.
Mr. Speaker, what the member opposite said, once again, is not true.
Then I had
The honourable member for La Prairie.
Is that so bad, though? Not caring about fixing the weather with taxes?
Senators Peter Boehm and Peter Harder have literally sabotaged Bill C-282. They amended it to prevent it from protecting supply management in existing trade agreements. Imagine, while Donald Trump wants to reopen NAFTA, these guys want to serve him supply management on a silver platter. The Senate could vote on this amendment as early as tomorrow. So all the party leaders have to speak out, starting with the Prime Minister. Will he ask the senators to defeat the amendment and save supply management? The Honourable Government House Leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, on this side of the House, we're asking senators to support Bill C-282 in its original form.
Yeah.
Because we do believe in supply management. We believe in our farmers in Canada.
No, you don't.
Farmers or others to ensure that they do have protection. We agree with the Bloc, and we want to pass this legislation in its original form. The honourable member for La Prairie. Their excuse is that they're saying that the independence of senators is at stake, but they appointed them, and they are sabotaging C-82. One of them even advised the Prime Minister. And what's more, they're both fighting to sponsor government bills. So Let's be serious. The Prime Minister can and must demand that senators pass Bill C-282 as voted by all parties in this House. We're talking about the future of supply management. It's serious. Will all the leaders in this House demand that senators vote against this amendment? The Honourable Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Dude, didn't this chick
House
quit?
Canadians, they know that a Liberal government will vote for this bill in its full form, and it's a good question. Will the Conservative Party leader ask the Conservative senators, to vote for this bill in its original integral form? Order, please. The Honourable Member for Rosemont-La Petite Patrie. Mr. Speaker, people are having a hard time making ends meet. Rents have doubled, and grocery prices just don't make sense anymore. Clearly, the Liberals have let people down. And the Conservatives, they're going to cut everything, including the Canada Child Benefit and dental care. Who's going to pay the price? Quebecers. We at the NDP are going to eliminate taxes on basic products like food, hydro, internet, and cell phone bills. Will the Liberals eliminate the GST on basic necessities? The Honourable Minister of Public Services and Procurement.
I don't think I trust them to eliminate taxes on anything.
My colleague is right in terms of the importance of supporting the middle class and all those who are working hard to join it. And that is why it's really sad to see the Conservatives voting against dental care. And the NDP also worked really hard to put it in place. So 1 million Quebecers now have their dental care card, and they want to move forward with this in 2025. We're going to sign up more Quebecers and Canadians between 18 years and up.
The Honourable Member from Vancouver Kingsway.
Mr. Speaker, working and now middle-class families are cutting back on their groceries. They're getting less and getting gouged at the till by greedy CEOs. Liberals let this happen and are letting families down. Conservatives will cut and cost families even more. They'll take away important services like dental care, costing families thousands of dollars a year. The NDP's tax-free essentials plan removes the GST from grocery items to bring families relief. Will the Liberals take the tax off grocery items so Canadians can get a break?
The Honourable Minister for Innovation.
Mr. Speaker, I would agree with the
Taxes would go down if the Conservatives
Conservative
won an election today.
Cut, Mr. Speaker. They're going to cut dental care. They're going to cut child benefit. Mr. Speaker, Canadians at home know that on this side of the House, we will always stand for the middle class. We will always stand on those who are working hard to join the middle class. We will fight for Canadians as we've done on grocery. We will build more homes, Mr. Speaker. We will create economic opportunities. We will fight for workers. We will create jobs. We will create opportunities and possibilities for this country so the middle class can thrive, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Mégantic-L'Érable. Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Official Languages campaigned as a successful entrepreneur.
Dude, Randy is so screwed.
That he presented him. He said he wasn't involved in his company when he was a minister, but the text messages show the opposite. He was taking money destined for First Nations communities. He said he was a journalist even though he was a lobbyist. When will the Prime Minister fire this professional fake? The Honourable Minister of Employment and Workforce Development. Mr. Speaker, despite the insinuations, I have never met that person in question in today's article. I've never dealt with her. I've never met her. Those are the facts.
Well, now that he said it again, I guess we believe him.
The Honourable Member from Mégantic-L'Érable. Mr. Speaker, there are so many Randys that they didn't even understand the question I asked him. But the Minister of Official Languages presented himself as a successful entrepreneur and journalist. But he said he worked for Radio Canada and Les Affaires, and even the editor-in-chief of Les Affaires said it was obvious he wasn't a journalist. he was uncovered, even though the Prime Minister made many efforts to protect him. When will the Prime Minister fire his fake minister? The Honourable Minister. Mr. Speaker, the statements of that member are false.
That's it? Okay.